Yes, yes, it belongs to
I
every one of us.
They need to come out. They come out in half of the country, and we got to get this thing right because we can't allow them to come and carry we money.
You have to fight for your children and grandchildren who can't fight. You have to fight for them because when you're going to ask you what you did, you have to tell them what you did.
Exactly, because we ain't getting nothing and them getting written ExxonMobil carrying it all the way. So we ain't getting nothing. It's like when this government begging ExxonMobil to come for the way. Yeah, come quick, we ain't used to it.
Well, Jack Dale said that. Pump it, baby, pump it, let's go.
Drill, baby, drill.
Drill, baby, let's go.
You know, them think we stupid. So you can't, and our Guyanese, and let them come out or else we get nothing for gift.
I hear you, brother.
Time is 12 hours 5. You listen to Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. We'll return with a rebroadcast of the Glenn Locke Show right after your main newscast. Stay tuned.
Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Burby's 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
A pleasant good day to you. Welcome to your main newscast for January 3rd, 2022. I'm Kevin Smith.
And I'm Amrita Koshal.
This is what you need to know. The government gears up to dive into oil account as Ali says money to be spent on citizens' welfare. Condemnation of new oil fund law grows. Citizens warn that unilateralism and triumphalism will hurt PPC in 2025. $30 million worth in equipment destroyed in GPHC fire, and row over gold leaves Venezuelan dead. And GCAB needs fundamental restructuring. PNCR urges broad consultations on proposed changes to election laws. Do stay tuned.
Nothing in life is free, but the MyDigiCell app is. You don't need to be on a data plan to use the app. You can conveniently chat with Ruby or an agent for help. Check your account balance, activate a Prime bundle, or gift it to a friend. Send credit. Check the Georgetown and Burby's bridge schedules. Activate a roaming plan. Play Shake to Win for cool prizes. So don't worry about a data plan, buddy. Download the MyDigiCell app from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store today. Digicel, better together.
We get to your news in detail. Amid fears that the Natural Resources Fund would be abused and misused with no jail time for the offenders, President Irfan Ali, in his New Year's message, has hinted that funds will be transferred from the account to better the lives of Guyanese. Ali did not give any specifics as to what projects or how the money would be used to better the lives of citizens, but spoke about granting more scholarships for oil and gas studies and other improving houses. AFC leader Kamraj Ramjatan believes that Vice President Bharat Jagdeo intends to use the oil money in a manner that will score him political points. He explained that the former APNU AFC administration was guided by international best practices when it drafted the Natural Resource Fund Act, and it was decided to not have the monies accessible to politicians.
Moving on, Guyanese continue to speak out against what they deemed the flawed Natural Resources Fund bill, which was hurriedly passed in the National Assembly last week. Government has since mobilized all of its surrogate organizations to hail the new law as revolutionary and good for Guyana. U.S.-based Guyanese Dr. Jerry Jailal said despite its sloganeering about One Guyana, quote-unquote, the PPP's engine room essentially told the opposition PNC and civil society representatives asking for more time for consultation to go to hell. Jailal reasoned that the PPP's unilateralism and triumphalism may hurt them in 2025, while adding that they probably already lost all crossover votes that catapulted them in the 2020 election.
And Knowledge Chalyu PNCR said it welcomes the Electoral Reform Group's response to government's proposal to amend the Representation of the People's Act, noting that while there are areas of disagreement, many of the proposals averred are acceptable. The party said it welcomes the support of the ERG's position that there is almost unanimous agreement that JICA is in need of fundamental restructuring and reform, and that electoral reforms need to benefit from a national consensus if they are to have the desired effect. In this regard, therefore, the PNCR notes the ERG position that the single most worrying omission from the current process is the absence of dedicated spaces for stakeholders to discuss and deliberate together as a means of achieving an increased national consensus on the proposed reforms.
In other stories, we now tell you that New Year's Day turned out to be a tragedy for two friends after one allegedly killed the other during a row over gold at Arau Mountaintop located in the Cayuni District, Region 7. Killed reportedly from a blow to the head with a piece of wood is 51-year-old Animal Sonha, a Venezuelan national of Valencia. According to police, Sonha received the fatal blow between 2:45 and 3 hours on Saturday. His friend, a 21-year-old, accused of killing him, was nabbed by police yesterday at Kaikan, a village located not too far away from the Arau Mountaintop. We were told that both the suspect and the victim had arrived in Arau some time back looking for work.
In other news, fire broke out at the Georgetown Public Hospital on New Year's Day, destroying some $30 million worth in equipment. Ranks responded to a report of a fire at the hospital sometime around 5:25. The fire is said to have occurred in the ECD room of the hospital, causing severe damages. The fire service's prompt response prevented it from spreading to other parts of the medical facility, but affected 11 patients who had to be relocated. Though it was reported that arson is suspected, Fire Chief Calamidine Edu told us that they are unable to confirm this, but investigators discovered some form of unknown substance, which has since been taken to the lab to be tested as investigations into the cause continue. And moving on. Two men were moments ago remanded for the murder of Sensei Garfield, a 36-year-old bodyguard attached to Bihari Group of Companies. The defendants, 25-year-old Darren Bailey, called 50, of Parfait Harmony, West Bank Demerara, and 24-year-old Judah Vickery, called Culture, a taxi driver of Podrine Squatting Area, West Coast Demerara, made their first appearance in court before Senior Magistrate Lee Rondelli. The men were not required to plead to the indictable charge, which alleges that on December 24, 2021, at Campbell Street, Alboystown, they murdered Newton during the course or furtherance of a robbery. You're listening to Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. We will return after the break.
Weak systems of governance and the absence of the rule of law both combine to form the perfect stage for corruption to flourish. As part of our anti-corruption fight at Kaieteur Radio, we invite you to join us every Tuesday evening from 7:30 p.m. as we embark on the most needed quest to remove the tentacles of corruption from our systems. See you then for our latest program called Governance, Corruption and Justice.
city engineer Colvin Venture has alleged that what he believes is a personal ploy by members of the council to have him ousted from his position. In a statement to the press, Venture, who faced previous threats of termination from the council, outlined the most recent attempt to have him removed. Among other reasons for his conclusion, Venture pointed to the fact that since the installment of the new mayor, deputy mayor, and councillors in 2019, he has been targeted and singled out for special attention by the mayor and a few of his councillors.
And now let's tell you the main opposition, APNU-AFC, is calling on the Speaker of the National Assembly, Manzoor Nadir, to produce the list of members of Parliament who voted in favor of the new Natural Resources Fund bill, which will govern the finances garnered from oil and gas. In an interview with Kaieteur, attorney at law and MP Roysdale Ford explained that the Speaker of the House has laid out the grounds for the passage of the bill to be challenged legally during his own press conference last Thursday. On December 30th, 2021, Mr. Nadir hosted a press conference where he told media operatives that in order for the bill to be considered approved, with the 33 members of the government voting in favor of the bill, that should be inclusive of its 47 articles and 2 schedules, there only needed to be a quorum for the sitting and for the mace to be in place. He went on to explain that on his ascension to office, he had foreseen the need for a replica mace, and so it was made. The time has now moved on to 12 hours 15. We now wrap up with the page 7 of the Kaieteur News. It is 2022. Must we continue to turn a blind eye to the evils that plague this land? We think not. We at Kaieteur Radio and the Kaieteur News are optimistic that this year will be one of hope. We hope for a year in which the people of this nation will stand up and speak out with such clarity that our leaders will have no choice but to put measures in place to ensure that Guyana reaps all possible benefits so that all of our people can benefit, not just a few. And with that, we've come to the end of today's News at Noon. I'm Kevin Smith.
And I'm Amrita Koshal.
Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
I hear you, brother. I hear you.
It's about time.
I hear you, man. I hear
But
you.
we gotta get somebody to lead this thing, Mr. Glenn. That is a problem. We gotta get somebody to lead it.
I am here. I am here. I am ready to lead. But you guys need to understand what's going on. Let them, we want to give them the benefit of the doubt, my friend. We will get them to change. We don't have to lead anything. They will change. I believe so. I know so. They have to change.
These people wouldn't change because these people are just park and shop and go.
No, they will. They
Well,
will.
if they don't change, me and you have to show them that we can change it.
Once
Yeah,
enough.
we can't trust these people not a minute more.
I agree.
If these people can do that to their own Guyanese people, and that wealth belongs to we Guyanese, and
Poor Guyanese people too.
Now, then we know that they don't really interested and care about their own Guyanese people. Why we put them there as leaders?
Not all of them, you have some good leaders in there. You got some of them. But they don't have any say. They understand.
But when you see them start see the check, when I start see the check start raising, start see the check, then here I have a stamp on their head so they don't concern about nobody else in the country.
Exactly. The guy's right.
Every word has been nice, you know. Them they were sweet talk you. Yeah, we gonna do the best. We gonna do the good best. When I go in and start see a check, when I start see numbers on the check, and don't have time with you.
I know. My job. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so
My
much.
job is to educate you guys, man. I want you to understand what's playing out.
Caller, good evening. Welcome to the Glenn Lal Show.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, Mr. Lal.
Yes, sir.
Nice to you and your panel.
Thank you.
I call in. I want to know if we can pass a bill in this country, a law in this country, I mean, that when these government officials use the country money and spend it on failed projects, they have to repay back the country the money. It ain't going down, sir. Yes, thank you.
I agree with you, man. I have said it on one of my programs that I believe that every project they throw on us, and if it fails, they should be personally held accountable and they should be paid back or go to prison. In certain countries you go to prison. Yeah.
Caller, good evening. All right, you seem to have lost that caller there. Let me remind you of that those telephone numbers: 226-7453 and 226-7454.
It's every project. This is why I'm saying that you really can't trust these people on anything.
Caller, good evening to you.
Hi, good day, sir.
Good night to you, sir.
Yeah, let me tell you. In the
Sir, before you continue, can you please lower the volume of your radio?
right? In the colonial days,
Lower the volume on your TV, on your phone, on your radio, please.
right? With book.
Let me just remind callers when they call in to please lower the volume of your radio. If not, we'll be forced to disconnect you this evening on the Glenn Lal
Yeah,
Show.
let them know. Let them know.
The feedback you can.
Yes, Brad, you were telling me something.
With SBM? And
No, you about the projects. Every project they embark on. Every project they embark on that fail, they should be made to pay. You know?
Yeah.
They need
And or go to jail for it.
yes, they need pressure.
They should go to jail for it.
Caller, good evening. Go right ahead with your question.
Good evening. Thank you all for keeping the show so bright.
Thank you.
And Mr. Glenn, Mazaruni water enough to make enough current for this whole Caribbean.
Definitely.
I agree with you.
Definitely.
So let me close down the 20 billion and then put him for me back US.
Definitely. Thank you.
Else.
Thank you so much,
We
caller.
need your support to do that. We the people can't do that. We need the people support to do
All
that.
right, me alone can't do it. I just got to say when.
Thank you.
We are with you.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Let's somebody.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
You guys can call on 6222222. You can use a WhatsApp and call too.
That's right, or you can send
Just
us...
in case you don't have credit in your phone.
Yes.
You know? People doesn't have credit to call in this country.
Talk to the Muslim thing.
Caller, good evening to you.
Good evening, Mr.
Go ahead. Good night.
I just calling to make an inquiry. The interest that we have to pay back on the money that these different projects, accumulate. How long do we have to pay that interest back?
Brother, you asked me such a difficult question. All I know, we have about $20 billion that they announced for Lisa 1, Lisa 2, and Payara. We don't know the interest rate. We don't know the terms and conditions on which this money was borrowed. We don't know where the money was borrowed. We basically know nothing. And our leaders, both governments, the coalition and the PPP, is not telling us anything. So it's like you have a loan, your home is paying for a loan on a loan that your parents took, and you don't know what rate or what are the terms and conditions on the loan. That's what I asked the Vice President for today, and he says he's going to call me back on it. So I'll brief you guys later on it. Thanks for calling.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, man.
We have another caller.
Yeah.
Let me remind persons that the 62222 number is strictly for WhatsApp or SMS. You can call us on WhatsApp on that number.
I'm getting an echo. Yes, do we have any